My name is Kate Dougherty. I grew up in Taylor, Missouri in the 70s, but I was really lucky in growing up in that we lived a mile, give or take, from the very first family in the state of Missouri to ever bring out a child out of a hospital ICU setting into a home ICU setting. Jane and John Leeser brought their son Clint home. Anyway, Clint was supposed to live about 9 minutes, and he lived 9 beautiful years. Now, he was my very first exposure to a kiddo who learned and lived life differently. But my memory of Clint is this beautiful little boy with gorgeous eyes who would smile up at you, and they had a lake at their house in the summertime, and so we would take Clint on the float, and if you were really good, you would get to bag him and float him. So we would float him. He went with us, and he was just Clint. It wasn't. I actually years later had to ask him what quote unquote his technical disability was, because it wasn't ever something that was brought to the notice, whatever the actual diagnosis was, because he was just Clint. And anyway, he was a gift. In hindsight, you see the things that make you grow. But at the time, you don't know that those are the building blocks to developing your passion. So when Tony and I got married, we knew we wanted more children in addition to Olivia, but we couldn't get pregnant for a very long time. And so when I did find out that I was pregnant, I decided that I wanted to stay at home with my kiddos. God kind of had a really, the different plan. When Elliot popped out, first 9 hours, he had an APGAR of 9.5. Everything was beautiful. And we called the parents in because I'd had a long labor and had to have an emergency C. And anyway, we're holding the baby and think everything's great. And actually, my husband is the one who noticed that Elliot was turning blue. And it started kind of this crazy journey of, we don't know what's wrong, something's wrong, we think it's the heart, we don't know it's the heart, you can't stay here, you're going. Elliot was flown. When Tony had gone down the night before, because he went with Elliot, because I wasn't going to have my baby left alone, and a doctor had walked in, and Tony said, well, what's going on with my kid? And he said, well, he's got something called an AV canal, and he said, but we're going to go in, we'll fix his heart, he'll probably have heart surgery about 4 months, and he's going to be great. And he said, but it's AV canal and some of his markers, he goes, I think there's a very strong case that he probably has Down syndrome. And Tony said, well, what does that mean? And Dr. J said, well, it means I'm going to fix that heart up, and you're going to have this beautiful, healthy, awesome little boy. And he said, and you're going to take him home and you're going to love him up, and if you can't do that, I'm going to. Say, I'd been praying to God, God, help me find my passion, help me find my passion. As far as I was concerned, the world was absolutely perfect. I had a woman come up and say, oh, is that your baby? And I said, well, yeah, it's my baby. And she said, I said, yeah, so she said, everything's good? I said, oh, it's great. And she said, well, now, do you think that he's going to be able to live in a group home, or do you think you're going to have to institutionalize him? And I said, well, I was actually thinking about college, because we felt that everybody was operating under the same baseline as what we are, the same base of knowledge, that individuals who learn and live life differently can go on to achieve anything, their fullest potential. The NDSC had a conference. We're going to go to that conference. As to my husband described it, was like the best party ever. We went to Nancy Gianni's session, and it was called The Power of Empowerment. And I sat in the front row, and within about 5 minutes, she's an exceptional speaker. And she told her story of when her daughter was born. And when her daughter was born, they drew the drapes, and they went from a big party celebration to, she's like, what's going on? And they said, well, we think your daughter has Down syndrome. And she looked at her husband and she said, what's it mean? And he said, think of what an amazing opportunity this is going to be for our family and for our other children, for us to learn and grow and celebrate, her life. We were in Nancy's thing, and she talks about, or at one point she said, people said, well, why did you do this? Why not just stay home? You got a good family, you've got a great husband, you got great kids. Why didn't you just stay home? Why are you doing all of this? And she said, well, you're right, Gigi would be fine. She'll be fantastic. She has a loving family, she's blessed beyond measure. However, it's not just about Gigi, is it? She said it's about all those other kids and all those kids who maybe don't have those resources, and it's about all of them. And she said, and I'm not going to be able to sleep at night knowing that they still need to have those same blessings in their lives and understand what is possible. And so her challenge to all of us sitting there that day is, all right, so now what are you going to do about it? We got on the plane, decided we were going to use Down syndrome for the voice for how every kid learns. It's a very simple concept. We were going to send people to national, international conferences from right here in the tri-state area. And we've sent people now to more than 100 different national and international conferences, and I think we've logged somewhere close to about 700 attendance for approximately 750 different local tri-state area residents at different national and international conferences. There are 3 philosophical ideas, and that is, it's very simple. Every child is a gift, every child can learn, and every child learns differently.